Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. Hump day, as they say, middle of the week. Um, doesn't feel like it since we kind of had Monday off. So yesterday felt like Monday. Today feels like Tuesday, but tomorrow's Thursday. So I guess that's pretty cool. Not too much going on today. I feel like it's almost a repeat of last week where get to the end of the day and I just feel like completely wiped out. I don't know what's going on. I think everything that's going on in the outside world that we don't get to get out and see, um, it's just starting to wear on me, wear on everybody. First, you're told you can't go out because of the pandemic, the virus, whatever. Now with all this unrest, and protests and rioting and whatever else is going on out there, and now that it seems that the protests slash riots are starting to slow down, it seems like the virus is making a comeback, saying, now all of a sudden it might start spreading again, but that obviously wasn't a concern when there were 10, 20, 50,000 people out in the streets all massed together. So I don't know what to make of it all. I don't really care about your politics, my politics, how the media spins things. If you just look at the information you're being presented, depending on where it's coming from, it just doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, if you honestly think about it, does it make sense? I don't think so. Um, I like to think I'm a fairly intelligent person. Have a little bit of street smarts, I guess, for whatever that may be worth. I try to rationally look at all the information and look at both sides, and draw my own conclusion. And if you just look at the information that's out there, all these protests were not spontaneous. They were planned. They were coordinated. You say it's just peaceful. I say it's Antifa riots. You say it's for a cause. I say it's for a guy that died, and I'm just gonna put it that way. Um, Before the day he died, who was he? He wasn't a civil rights activist. He wasn't a community leader. He wasn't somebody that you would think, oh man, if this guy dies, we better light the world on fire. I get it. As of right now, a cop is being charged for his murder. If those cops get let off or get light sentences, I mean, this is going to be all repeated whenever that trial ends. Um, all the other stuff that's happened, the old guy that got pushed and fell and bleeding out of his ear. How do you bleed out of your ear when you hit the back of your head? None of it makes sense. I don't know. Should Trump stop with his silly posts? Probably, but think about it. Don't you think it's possible that he has some information that the general public may not have? Don't you think it's possible that if the FBI or somebody looked into what that old guy was doing, what his phone was doing, that maybe Trump has some information that we don't? You know, 3 years ago when he said I was spied on, you said no way, couldn't happen, not a chance. You're crazy, you're lying. And what happened? He was spied on. So don't discount what you think is just another stupid Trump tweet, because chances are he has information that we don't. If you look at the video, it looks pretty shady. The guy was waving his phone around cops' equipment. Was he just an old guy waving a phone around? Who knows? Why did he approach the cops like he did? Who knows? I'm not saying he was an Antifa antagonist. I'm not saying he wasn't. All I'm saying is if you look at the information and draw a conclusion that seems rational, it's possible to see what Trump was saying. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying it's possible to draw the conclusion that Trump did. Should he calm down? Sure, he gets himself into trouble because the things that he says that people think are outlandish and crazy at the time seem outlandish and crazy. But once the dust settles, a lot of times what he said was fairly accurate. Does he light his own fires? Sure. Does he have anybody helping him put them out? No, not really. He's his own communications team. I mean, Kayleigh McEnany's done a great job, I think, with the press conferences. Everyone says she was just hired as a gun to go out and fight Trump's fights, but obviously that's what your press secretary is there to do, is to speak for the president, and convey his message. So I don't know. It's really disappointing to day in and day out see the media try to try to fight for a position rather than just ask a question and report the news. They tilt, they slant, they pose the questions in such a way that it's hard to answer it correctly. Obviously, the truthful answer is always the best answer. But if you say one wrong word, or if you say, something that can be construed as inaccurate, you're vilified. It's over. You're lying. You're whatever. So I don't know. It's all a whole bunch of crap. I just wish it would end. It's not going to end. This George Floyd thing isn't going to end racism. Nothing's going to happen. If the government could do something to fix problems when these things happen, they would still be fighting the gun control issue. But they're not. The only time they're going to bring up gun control is the next time a gun incident happens. You would have thought Columbine should have solved the school shooting issue. You would have thought Sandy Hook should have solved the school shooting issue. But it obviously didn't. And only when those things happen does Congress and government bring up the gun control issue again and again and again. And now all of a sudden, systemic racism is the thing they need to fight for this week. But once this dies down, we'll be back to beating Trump over the head or finding a new scheme of the week to fight for and get sound bites for in your press conferences or whatever. So the next 5 months are not going to be pretty. It's going to be a virtual bloodbath between the media and Trump and the Republicans and the Democrats and the conservatives and the liberals, and I just hope the unrest in society can subside, both with the virus and with these protests. I'd like to get out and enjoy this summer. I'm tired of being stuck in my house for the last 3 months. I know we're able to start going out again, but one little report on a new hotspot of infections and the media is going to spin this into, oh my God, you need to get locked down again. So if I had to bet, all of this crap will basically go away the day after the election, unless Trump wins, and then it'll just keep going and going and going and going for another 4 years. And I think you're probably going to see some even crazier shit happen if Trump wins again. Just because the people that dislike him and his politics and the way he's governing seem to be hell-bent on outdoing themselves each time one of these things comes up. So I'm sorry for dumping all this crap on you. I've just had a whole lot to think about the last couple months, and I know I said I wasn't going to get political. I keep on saying that, but I feel like I just needed to kind of, I don't know, vomit into the camera with some things that are on my mind. Sorry if this offends anyone. Please don't, hate comment me or shame me or whatever, because I really don't have the time or the patience for it. I really don't. So, I guess that will do it for tonight. Hopefully I can snap out of this funk and enjoy tomorrow night. I think I'm going to try to get outside, do some yard work, maybe drink a couple fresh adult beverages, nice and cold, maybe jump in the pool, I don't know. And then Friday, kick off the weekend, 1 o'clock. We are off for the weekend. So I will say goodnight. I will say snap out of it, Chris. Get your shit together. Come back tomorrow bright and chippy, cheery as you always are. And have something good to talk about. Maybe sports. Maybe artwork. Maybe trailer project. Hashtag trailer project. So yeah. All right. We will say goodnight. Be safe. Be well. And we'll see you tomorrow.